Welcome once again, dear creatives, to another interesting tutorial. In this tutorial, I'll be showing you how to make this multiple keyhole neckline. Right? Just stay tuned, watch till the end and learn. So with me here are my patterns. I just want to show you the patterns I'm using for this. If you don't know how to draft Armhole Princess bustier, please check the link I'll be dropping so you learn. So it's an Armhole Princess bustier pattern that I'm using to make this dress, right? So here is the front part. Here are other parts of the pattern. This particular one is the front. Can you see? So the center front of it is what we'll be using for this tutorial. Okay, we have the back, the side back. Here is the center back and the side back, and here we have the side front. Can you see? So this pattern, how I drafted this pattern is in the channel already, so I'll be dropping the link for you to watch. Our focus is only on the center front, so I'll be keeping all of these aside, right? So let's come back to the, can you see this? So I have cut the center front on fold, and this is what we are having. I cut out two parts, both back and both the fashion fabric and the lining, and I have fused stay into both of them. So I'm using same fabric for the lining. Okay, this is to enable me get a firm effect on the neckline. So you can do any, if you can lay your hand on a thick enough lining, fine. So for me, my lining wasn't thick enough, so I just use same fabric for that center alone. Okay, and I've fused interfacing also to it. So without talking too much, let's go straight to the tutorial. Also, I want you to note that you can use your basic bodice. The focus is on the neckline. So we are just dealing with the neckline. Can you see what I'm doing? Here, I am marking 2 inches, 3 inches, 3 inches down from the neckline all around. Just watch me. I'm marking 3 inches. So the original neckline was 3 inches. Now marking 3 inches downwards again makes it 6 inches in total. So plus the keyhole, the neck depth is 6 inches now, right? Earlier on, it was a basic neck depth of 3 inches. So now I'm marking extra 3 inches down. I'm taking the markings round. Okay. Now, after marking, I'm linking the dotted points. Okay. I'll be using my ruler, my curved ruler, to get a better curve there. So I'm trying to get the best curve. Just watch what I'll be doing. Okay, can you see? This didn't go, so I'm going back to the first curve. Okay, so this part will match perfectly. Can you see? So I just want to have a nice curve there. You can actually use your free hand for this. Okay, you can do that. So I am done curving it out. So we have marked out the part where the keyhole will be placed. Okay, so the next thing we want to do, we want to go ahead and draft our keyhole shape. Here I am folding my pattern paper into 2. This is a firm pattern paper. You can use cardboard for this. Okay, this pattern paper is actually strong. This particular one I'm folding for this is strong. It glitters. It's a kind of hard pattern paper. It's unique, though it is not cardboard. It is unique. I don't know the name of this particular one though. So here, the length of my keyhole will be 3 inches. So I'll mark the length 3 inches. Okay, and then on fold, I'll be marking 1 inch. That means the bottom width of the keyhole is 2 inches because this is on fold and I am marking 1 inch. Okay, so marking 1 inch on fold simply means by the time I open it up, the keyhole bottom will be 2 inches. So after marking that part, I'm actually linking with a curve like this from the edge this way. I'm trying to carve out the shape I want. Okay, this is in no particular order. The shape of the keyhole you want will determine how you actually draft this part. So I am actually drafting my keyhole. Can you see? So I have gotten what I want. So I think I will cut out the pattern now. I'll just cut it out. After cutting it out, if it doesn't give me the exact shape I want, I'll go ahead and do further alterations to get the perfect keyhole shape I want. Okay, this isn't so perfect, so I'm trimming off excesses. Can you see? You see why I said this part is not rigid. You mustn't do exactly what I'm doing. Okay, you just do something, create the shape of your keyhole. Okay, your creativity will guide you here. Actually, can you see this? So this is it. This is our keyhole. So before we start marking out our keyhole, I want to also draft out this neckline. Okay, I want to draft it out now because we will not be using it. I want to trace it out. We'll not be using it on the pattern paper like this. So I want to trace it out. Unfold. You fold your pattern paper and place the original neckline on top, and then use your tracing wheel to trace it out. Now, after tracing it out, I'm simply redrawing what I have traced. I know you cannot see the traced points, but I can see the traced points. That's the traced markings, the markings from the tracing wheel. So they are the ones I'm following right now to redraw. Okay, so I'm in effect re-emphasizing the traced markings using my marker pen and my curved ruler. So on the upper part, I'm using the straight ruler, the straight part of this ruler. Okay, so here we are. We have our neckline traced out. I'll now be cutting it out also. And here it has been beautifully traced out. Remember, for the pattern paper, there is no allowance. We added allowances on the fabric alone, okay? So there is no sewing allowance, but on the fabric, there is sewing allowance. So placing it together, just watch how it will look like. Can you see how it is now? Can you see the sewing allowance? Okay, the sewing allowance on the main fabric. So what we need to do, you can actually work with this, but for me, I'll also want the pattern paper to have allowances. Okay, so what I want to do, I'll cut it out again, including the allowances, so that the keyholes will be placed accordingly. Okay, so I've placed another pattern paper on fold and I am bringing it. Okay, can you see? So as I'm placing it on the folded edge of the pattern paper, I'm ensuring that there is at least ½ inch allowance on the bottom and on the upper part for me to cut out. Now I'm simply done cutting out. So here is it. Can you see? The one with allowance is bigger than the first one. So we are now keeping the first one aside and working with the one that has the allowances, right? Okay, so I'll place it this way. Can you see? It's very nice. Now remember, the keyholes don't have extra allowances. So I'll be placing the keyholes, putting into consideration the ½ inch allowances. So I will not be starting from the edge. I'll give a space of ½ inch before I start marking out the keyholes. Okay, so just watch me as I mark out the keyholes. For this part, I'm placing the center, the folded part of the drafted keyhole on the folded part of the neckline. That is the exact neckline, the exact midpoint of the neckline. Can you see? So I have marked out, and then I will measure the space that I need in between the next keyhole and this one I've already drafted. For me, I think 1 inch allowance, 1 inch space is okay, and this 1 inch I'm marking from the neck area. Okay, so after marking, I am placing the keyhole again on the marked point. Can you see? And then I will draw it out. So it's always best for you to determine how many keyholes you want on your neckline and then the space that you want to give in between each keyhole. So I'll just follow this pattern and then mark out my 5 keyholes. I just need 5 keyholes. So I have one in the middle and 2 at the sides each. Okay, so I have marked one on this side and the next one I mark on after giving a space of 1 inch. Okay. So we are done marking out the keyholes on one side. So for us to have exact same keyholes on the other side, I've folded the pattern and I'm tracing them out. I'm tracing out the keyholes I just marked so that they will also reflect on the other side of the pattern paper. And here we are also done tracing out. So opening it up, they are reflecting on this side. Can you see? Okay. Even if you cannot see it clearly, I'm sure you are seeing it faintly. And then I am redrawing it, okay, following the traced out lines so that the keyholes will also reflect on this side of the neckline, right? So can you see? I'm just simply redrawing the reflection of the traced out keyhole pattern. And I'm also done. Can you see what we are having? So at this point, you just place it on the neckline this way and then you pin down, okay? But before I will place it, I'll have to bring the lining, okay, facing right side on each other, right side to right side, and then wrong sides outside. Can you see? I place them that way. Okay, at this point, you can use a pin to pin them in place, or you place the keyhole neckline pattern before you start pinning. For me, I placed the keyhole neckline pattern before I started pinning. So just watch me. Can you see? Now I have placed the neckline and I'll pin. So I'll just get my pins and pin the pattern and the fabric and the lining all in place together. Now after pinning in place, I'll just go over to my sewing machine and stitch exactly on the keyhole lines. Okay, so let's go over to our sewing machine and start stitching around the keyhole, the marked points. Okay, so here we are. Just watch me as I sew on the marked keyholes. So here I am done sewing all around the keyholes. Okay, you must have watched me do that. Now I am removing the pins. Okay, so you carefully remove all the pins. Can you see? I'm done removing the pins and I'm here cutting through. As you are cutting through the keyhole, ensure that you leave allowances. For the front side, there's already allowance, but for the inner parts, you need to leave allowance of at least 1/4 inch. Okay, so watch me as I cut through. So as you can see, here is what we are having for now. Okay, can you see? So I am done cutting out all the keyholes with allowance of at least 1/4 inch left inside. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to trim the allowances beautifully and then you go over and clip all around. Clip so that by the time you turn out, it will be relaxed. After clipping, you need to remove your papers as I'm doing. Okay, you have to remove your paper before you turn out. Now I'm done removing the papers, so this is what we are having. What I'll do next is just to clip round. Okay, can you see? Clipping round means you have to cut through very close to the seam line but not on the seam line. So I am cutting through, especially the curved parts. Okay, I'll do the same thing I'm doing for all the keyholes, right? Here we are also done clipping through, so it's now time for us to turn out. Okay, so to turn out, you can use anything sharp to aid yourself, right? For me, I'll be using a picker. I'll be using a picker to do the turning from this point. But before I turn out, I'll have to sew close the neckline area. Okay. So after sewing close the upper part, I'm using my picker. So this is my picker. I'll be using it to turn it out. So here I'm almost done turning out. Can you see? I'm left with just this one. Can you see what we've gotten here? So this is it for now. Now I'll go ahead and also turn out the remaining one, and then we'll be done turning out all the keyholes. So we close this point and then we turn out using the picker. So dear creatives, we are done turning out all our keyholes, and here we are. Now, if you can remember the neckline we traced out earlier, can you see? This is it. We'll be using it to arrange our necklines, okay? I mean our keyholes. We'll be using it to arrange our keyholes and bring out the exact shape of our neckline. Okay, so I'll be placing it underneath the keyholes while arranging the keyholes according to the neckline. While I arrange, I'll also be pinning down so my arrangement stays in place. As you can see here, I am pinning. Okay, so I'll be pinning the neckline to the pattern while I'm arranging the keyholes. Here, as you can see, I'm done pinning it to stay, and our neckline is beautifully arranged now. Okay, so what we will do, just go to the machine and sew like this to allow the keyholes to stay in place. Okay, so after sewing, I've removed the pins and I'm removing the pattern paper. As you can see, our neckline and the keyholes have all stayed in place together. Can you see? So this is it. This is how to make a multiple keyhole neckline. I'll just go over and then sew my princess bustier pattern. Okay, I'll just join all the necessary parts and then I'll show you the finished dress. Have you learned anything from this video? Please drop in the comment section, like this video and share it. Would you like to see more of this? Kindly subscribe to the channel if you are yet to do so. Thank you for watching this video. So here is our finished result. Please try yours and make sure it's even finer.